In 1959, when my chief asked me to go to Paris to learn the new techniques of gynecological laparoscopy. And from there were operated the great pioneers of this technique. And while there, I realized that I was immersed in the heart of the most qualified and brilliant team for infertility studies in the world. I realized that my interest was gradually shifting from gynecological surgery to infertility problems. In 1961, I performed in Palermo the first diagnostic laparoscopy in Italy. In 1962, I wrote a book on the pill and hormonal control of fertility. And in 1981, we started to think to perform autonomously IVF at Palermo University.
When you started, and that was more than 30 years ago, had you an idea how much would have in vitro fertilization spread? I'm talking about millions of babies born, talking about thousands of biologists working on the field and so on.
I realized that in nearly 500 operations I had performed, I had less than 100 pregnancies. I also thought that I was in debt with people that, notwithstanding surgery, didn't have a pregnancy. So I decided to start with IVF. At that time, all these problems were so complicated, so scientifically difficult, that I thought that for many years, in vitro fertilization would have been confined to very high-level institutions in the world. But surprising, after a few years, the techniques sprang up in every part of the world. And now in Italy we have more than 300 centers, and in every part of Europe there are more and more centers year by year.
What do you think about the future? What will the progress for research give to the couple suffering with infertility?
Well, for many years we have studied the couple, sent to two partners, as doctors in the traditional sense of the word. It means looking at their general and reproductive health. And in the last years, we are going into fascinating paths that the American scientists call the omics, which is genomics. Proteomics, it is a study of the proteins from the quantitative and qualitative point of view. And finally, metabolomics, because we know that the metabolism is the final product of genomic expression, and maybe also epigenomics and other fascinating paths like this.
Have you any message? Have you something to say, to tell to young people who are starting working on this field as doctors, as scientists, as biologists?
I think that a good scientist in reproductive field must be a good physiologist, a good endocrinologist, a trained surgeon, a specialist in prenatal medicine, and so on. And therefore I think that in the formative phase, this kind of scientists should have an integrated formation in our discipline. And of course, looking at their personal interest in the research field.